Hello everyone. In this video, I'm going to answer a question that is posted in the Discord group of my add-ons, and this is how to create colored stripes on a spaceship. What is the fastest and easiest way to do that, or at least how I would do it? Okay, so let's just create a quick spaceship using Starship. Play around with the subdivision level 1 or just subdivision level 1. To eight or I'm probably going to increase the or probably fix the at the back. Okay, and increase the scale in the fathership. And then the wing to to extrude only on the sides, and then include the ones that are kind of leaning into the axis. So to just kind of lessen the noise in the areas that I want to paint on. Okay, that's really good for demonstration. For I think the demo the process. How about let's look for at least a cool one. I think this will do. So um we now have a shape. Now we want to make those colored stripes. So the colored stripes being like kind of like this. So it has its thickness and all that. So you can do it using UV map if you want to UV map this. So random star shape comes UV map. So you can just unwrap it the UV editor. You get this. So you only have to do some minor fixes and then flatten these UV maps because we're dealing with hard surface. So at least the layout is already prepared for you. You only have to fix this to make it flatter and some areas that needs to be separated as well, like this one. Okay, so with UV map, you can paint it using texture. So everybody knows how to already do that. So what I'm going to show you is like faster, but it still involves bake. If you want to take it to the baking territory, baking of course implies that you have UV mapped the bake tube object. So if you plan to UV it, first off you have to create a copy of the mesh. Then we can play around with this one. So to create the stripes, if you have creative flow, you can use it or to create the paint design. But first, we're just going to create the stripes, just the basic stripes. So draw cuts. Press 4 to go to strips and Control AD to increase or decrease the size. Control also snaps to the middle of faces, edges, and to verts. So just be aware of that when you're pressing Control. I haven't found it doesn't conflict. So for now, this is the hotkey for increasing the size of the strips. Control A to reduce, Control D to increase. So, and then press T to make the cut through the mesh, kind of like the cut through feature in the Blender's knife functionality. Then you can just draw. By the way, you need to commit the last line because the last line now is uh, considered in the final cut. So press space confirm. We have now that. Then we can set the vertex color. Uh, if you want to bake it, and you can create a separate vertex color for this, and you can just set the rest of the objects vertex color as white. You can just add this later. You can just add the your painted or the saturated colors later on in your base diffuse. And then set the color of your color stripes like that. Okay. Then to draw another one, we can invert this. So with draw cuts, the unselected faces becomes immune from the cut. Not enough. But if there is no selection, then everything else can be cut. But if there's a selection, the unselected faces becomes immune from cuts. So you can use this technique to kind of mask the faces that you want cut. And again, the cut throw functionality defaults to off every time you use the operation, so you have to press T again to cut through. Then color set. Since we have already set the vertex color here from before, we can just click this to replace. Or if you have changed the vertex color, you can just pick it using this eyedropper here. The pick operator, pick and pick the color that you want. And or draw a few more stuff, like triangle, like square maybe. So number one is box. It is vertex color set and then replace. So the another one, let's select the color. Oops. Pick the faces with the vertex color. Then select invert so we don't draw on this area here. And then create the so Control Shift T, Control AD reduces the size of the scripts. Control Shift AD reduces the size of the script, but slower or finer way. Shift holding Shift will lock the draw to 45-degree angles, and holding Alt will lock the final point to the position of the starting point. So you can combine Shift Alt for this. So again, press T to cut through. And for this color set, so if you don't mind if you're just using this propulsion card, the topology doesn't matter. Then you can already use this. You can just repair some of the topology. If, just for example, this one, it's causing some noticeable shading error or distortion that's showing up in render. Then you can just fix this. That a quick fix. Okay. Or if you want this to your as an image texture, then you can use the backup copy. You have UV this and then bake the vertex color on your uh, bake to mesh, which is our duplicated mesh layer. You have to UV this and then bake this vertex color. To bake the vertex color in cycles, um, bake, there is no vertex color here, but you can create a material for this. You know, material for you can like that. You can create a material for this new. And make it clear. the investigator new change this to emit this to emit. You can name it whatever you want actually. Vertex color, this here. And, uh reminder, you have to have node wrangler on to have this submenu show up. This shows you the attributes, all the attributes that's in the mesh, which you can find right here. This is our vertex color, which is space corner and white color. So vertex color, okay. You can just set this to one, and then when you bake, you will use emit. Excuse me. So when you bake, you have to use emit. Okay, and you can just use a sample of two because when baking emission, it doesn't create noise. Just the only time that you'd really create use higher samples is when you're baking uh, direct and direct lighting in terms of diffuse and also AO. So, but for this, just you can just bake. Not here. You don't set it here. You set it here. Bake type emit. There we go. So it will bake the emission, that is the vertex color. But the bake to, this is the bake from object. The bake to object needs to be UV, and then you can use that. You can use that baked vertex color to add it or overlay it some on your diffuse colors for the paint effect. But if you're just using procedural textures, then you can bypass um, the baking. So if you're just using probably using just this for just this just you're just using this for stills or concept arts, then you can bypass the baking and just use this like this. If you don't have um, creative flow, you can use the blender snipe for it. But and you have to activate the cut through using the C hat key. So in creative flow, it's the T. In Blender's knife, it's C. Okay, so to cut through the mesh. So when we're drawing using this angle here, it will draw on the sides as well. That is the faces that are not being seen. Okay, so it doesn't have the strips, but you can create the effect using multiple cross sessions. Okay, so you can see that there's a bit of snapping. You can deactivate that by pressing Control. And to make it straight, you can press A. I think it's A, yeah. A, and then pressing A to deactivate. A to make it straight. A to deactivate. There we go. And then select the line. And F3, it needs to be contiguous, or the faces uh, between the selected edges must be contained by a complete loop of those edges. So you can use this. Select loop in a region. Mine is already showing it because I used it, but if it's not showing up to you, you need to type it. Select, you can just type in a region actually. Oops, activated got through, but it didn't go. Just maybe I deactivated it by accident. Like the line. Using vanilla functions. Uh, for strips maybe, but for drawing dynamic shapes or freeform shapes, you can still use the knife option. Okay, and then set your vertex color. That, that the mesh must be in edit mode. Oh, that is not the active object. Okay, set like that. So, but if you don't have creative flow again for setting the vertex color, you can just go to vertex paint and then press the tool for masking or the flood. What's the flood? Flood. Let's use this for a bit. What was the drag? Uh, where's the mask? I think it's M. No, they was M from so many months ago. I don't know what it is. There we go. This is this one here. Face selection masking for painting, but there's no hotkey associated with it. In the very old versions of Blender, it's M, but that was again many moons ago. I guess they changed it. So I don't know the. I think you can add GIF for this. No, you just click it. This is vertex selection. So click the face selection. Then you can paint. There's a blood brush. Okay, okay. I think it shift came from before, but there's a flood. I think there's a flood. I'm pretty sure there's a flood function, but it's supposed to be shift came. Okay. Or there's I think there's a flood brush from field brush, not flood brush, field brush. Makes exciting. So, but that's how you do it. Just use mix, then go. You can go to end mode again. You can go to the height. So if you're just using night, go to advanced. For example, the so snapping, you can disable that using control. Oops. And then go back to work. vertex color. There you go. So you can use this if this is only for stills or even for production. It's just going to be in the background. Or you don't care too much about the topology, you can just throw the face island containing the vertex color this way. But if you're planning on baking it, so you can use the original. So this is the duplicate which has the vertex color, and then you can use the original. If you view it, then you can bake the texture, the vertex color as I've shown you using emission. Okay, so that's for the stripes, or for both method. This is of course this has symmetry in the z-axis, but let's try it without symmetry in the z-axis. For example, let's close this one here, and in settings, disable Z. So for this one, you can still use the edge mode draw cuts. Number 4 for strips, increase the size, press T to cut through. It will still cut through the mesh, but uh, depending on the position of the faces, based on the angle that you're drawing, this might cause some. This might sometimes cause warping. So for example, if this face here is kind of split like that, so that will create some warping. But if you're not using cut through, it's just and you want the lines to be different. The bottom side, oops, invert. You need to continue this line here. Fortunately, there's no vertex color. Select like well to realize that we can just fix the connection later. Connect this using J for the J hat key, and we will select these lines and bring your vertex color now. Okay, so that's how you do it with asymmetry. Right, you can create a bunch of other shapes as well. Okay, you can create another vertex color using I think this one here. You can rename this if you want to create different vertex color groups and just add it in your material. Then you can, for example, uh, this red part here is going to be vertex color or vertex color. Then you draw another paint that's green, but you want it to separate, but you want it to be separated from the red part or the red painting. So you can name this as vertex color one, or you can name this as red, green, or something like that. Okay. Save is yeah. You saved is selecting the vertex color groups that's already in the mesh. And with the new layer, if the new layer matches any name that is already any name of a vertex color group that's already in the mesh, then it will use that. But if this doesn't match up, for example, if I use vertex color one here, Let's set this. Then we have two vertex colors. This is set place. Mm, set. So that help you make this. You can use attributes for this name. Here we go. So it acts correctly, but I don't know how to make it show up on the screen. So we have different vertex color group that you can use in your. You can just hover here. Press Control C and paste the name in. Control V. Okay. Of course, add this using color mix node. Mix color. Add line. There we go. Oh my god! What? So there's another. So this is the color attributes, which these attributes are also in the attributes as well. Right? So you go here for your vertex color, and then you use this to preview the vertex color groups that you have in the mesh. So it's not activated using these attributes panel. You use the color attributes. So okay, so that is how you draw those painted strips or painted areas, painted lines. So again, if you just you don't care about the topology, you're just using the mesh for cities, for stills, for concept art, for presentations. Then you can just not UV this and use it as is with your procedural shader. But if you plan to, of course, use it on mesh, that's be all quads, something like that. Then you need to UV it and make the emission using the vertex color group as a color to the your work mesh or source mesh. Okay, so that's it. That's how I would do it. But if you have any other technique that you might share, then of course, uh, post it in the comments. So I'm just we already know how to do it using drawing using the UV map. This is just another approach that's how I would do it because I'm too lazy to create UV maps. I know how to UV map, but I'd rather I'd rather topologize than create UV maps. Okay, so yeah, I hope this answers the questions to you guys in Discord. you have any questions, just comment section below. That's it for this video. Subscribe and hit notify. Thank you for watching and have a nice day.